The name of your band that your dad was in was
Deuce and a Quarter.
Deuce and a Quarter, which for car guys is
Yeah, Buick Electra 225. Yeah.
And how exactly did the whole fifth Pete Best get kicked out of the movie? I mean, did he decide maybe it's time for you guys to do your own thing, or did y'all have to have the prayer meeting and go, Dad?
You're just not cutting it, sir. No. And then he grounded us.
Yeah, exactly. No, he was actually great. He was in that band. He was the front man, did most of the singing and entertaining, and our dad has a really great sense of humor and is really a really great sociable guy. And it was actually, I mean, that was really probably the guy we really learned from, and to sit back, and I played upright bass, sang a few songs, and John played guitar and lap steel and that, and it was fun, to cut our teeth at the local bars around town. And it's cool when we go back now to some of the same places we played back with Deuce and a Quarter, and just it's wild to think of, man, this used to be the place I was freaking out to play.
Yeah.
And just it really puts it in perspective.
What was your first gig with Deuce and a Quarter?
It would be one of the bars in our hometown. I'm not sure which bar it was first, but it was one of the two main bars everyone would go to. But I think it was at Skipper's Pier at Happy Harbor. And if you actually watch the video for Rum, we filmed it in two bars, and it was those two bars that we had our first gig. So it was kind of cool, starting there, just playing, our first gigs as kids, and actually filming a music video there as Brothers Osborne.
Well, you must remember, though, because you had to have that moment to where you guys were playing at home and whatever, and Dad goes, "We got a gig. We're gonna go play for people."
Well, we kind of at first would it'd be the thing where you would sit in for a song, and
bring
my dad
the boys up a little bit, and everybody gives you that charity clap thing.
Exactly.
But you actually were pretty good.
I'm sure it was awful. No,
Yeah,
I'm sure it wasn't even.
I hope no one has a recording of it anywhere.
I'm sure
the
it was
funny thing is, it
terrible.
was kind of like some child labor thing happening, because he came to Nashville a few times, and he would go downtown to Broadway. And if you play those 4-hour shifts, you really don't take any breaks. I mean, you go and go and go. So he told us, you guys have to play 4 hours, you get no breaks. And an hour and a half in, he goes, takes a break, and he's drinking at the bar, and we're playing all the music.
He's requesting all the songs.
Now I get it, yeah. So you talk about feel good and organic and rum and all that. And then you guys have a song. This song's been around a while, your current single. But you hook up with Jay Joyce, who this guy is so brilliant. I can't wait to see what he does next. And what a great hookup for you two.
It was great, yeah.
The song's really cool. It's obviously you guys, but then there's that production that's just, when stuff hits, it hits, and the clarity and his use of reverbs and the way y'all sounded, it seems to bring out the best of everything you do.
It really did, and I think with Jay, it was good for us because we're a duo where John plays guitar and I sing, and it was hard sometimes to capture that in the studio, because people a lot of times I think would think it was just a hired guy playing guitar, and we had to try to really get John's personality to come out in his playing, to where you can be like, all right, I can see that guy playing the guitar. Where we went in and cut it with Jay, Jay was really good about being consciously really attacking that. In fact, that song, our single, Stay a Little Longer, there's a radio edited version that's out, but which is the original version, people call the extended version, is on iTunes, and there's a little over a 3-minute outro on that song. And the original version we had that's on our EP before, that we didn't cut with Jay, already has a 2-minute guitar solo at the end of it. And we went in the studio, and the very first thing he told us out of anything we did, all right, we're starting with the end of this solo. And we're like, well, it's already 2 minutes. And he's like, yeah, we're making it longer. And he wanted it to be an even bigger, crazier thing to really make that pop out. And for John and I, and I'm sure you've probably had things like this happen in your career, where you're in music so long, you get to a point where you really know what you want and know who you are, and it's hard to take an outside perspective into consideration. So it's nice to have someone that you really respect and admire what they do, to say, okay, I'm going to listen, I'm going to go down your road and just see what happens. And it turned out to be a good collaboration, I think.
That is a hard thing to do. It's it's something like writing songs. I mean, I've been at Sony, used to be Tree, for over 30 years now, and it's, I went through that phase of it was hard sitting down with people without just immediately spewing all my ideas in the way that I write and the process that I go through. And when I finally as my dad used to say, you might want to turn off your transmitter and let your receiver work a little bit. I finally got that through my thick head and started doing some co-writing that way and letting other people talk. And I was still able to interject and do my thing, but the process started getting fun for me in a whole new way.
Sure.
It's like, and I guess, I don't know, part of if it's ego or what it is, that once we get our thing down, and that's my thing, and I don't want to let that get interfered with, the creative process can go in so many different directions if you let it come to you a little.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
I mean, you shouldn't really collaborate with someone you don't trust. So if you don't trust their opinions, you shouldn't collaborate with them. It's not right for you. And if you are collaborating with someone that you trust, you're collaborating with them. So it's a team effort, and someone like Jay will say some pretty wacky stuff. And you're like, man, that sounds bonkers, but I trust you and let's try it. And a lot of times he's right. It's just, if you didn't need them, why would you have them in the room with you? So you need someone like Jay, or you need a co-writer that does something that you don't do to create something together. And that's always a fun experience because you never know what's going to happen.
Nothing like a blank piece of paper.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what about touring? You guys are out now.
With Darius Rucker, we're right on the tail end of that, and Brett Aldridge and 1,000 Horses, and it's been awesome. Darius is a sweetheart, as you know. He's a really, really great guy. We were huge Hootie and the Blowfish fans, and growing up, and to go out on tour with Darius, and it's finally like, all right, man, it's Darius Rucker. Here we are on tour with him. Here he is. This is cool. It's an honor to get to meet the guy, and very much like yourself, he's a very, really disarming personality where you kind of start talking to him and you feel like, man, I feel like this is a guy I grew up with or
Yeah,
something. I feel like this is
totally.
a guy I've known for my entire life, and he's really just a genuinely good person. And he has the perspective. He's been on the road long enough to know that, all right, I got to make it fun, and it's not all about not just about the time we're on stage. It's about the whole experience, and it's been a great tour.
Yeah, he's good on stage too.
Yeah.
And
he
he's
is.
different than he was with Hootie on stage.
Yeah.
He's relaxed in a different way that he doesn't have to sit back with his buds or whatever. He can really, I feel like he's really finding some joy out there doing his own thing.
Yeah.
You guys
he
play
does, yeah.
golf?
No, we were
actually
terrible.
talking about this earlier. We were like, we have
Terrible.
no
And
idea.
you're still on tour with Darius?
I know.
Does he know?
know.
Or
Not yet.
You keep coming up with new excuses every day?
We don't even know. We're like, how are these? Since when do musicians become good at golf? I don't even know how that happened. We were like the worst golfers.
I know.
I remember like when someone first was like, "Hey, you want to come out on this charity event?" It was Eric Church's charity event and play golf, and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it would be a bunch of musicians out there playing. Everyone's gonna be terrible, of course." And then we walk out there, and everyone shows up in their nice, like, beautiful, breezy golf shirts and pants and shoes, and I'm like, "Oh my god, we look like a bunch of hillbillies
I
rolling
know.
up out there." And I was like, "Wait, you mean I got to drive the ball in front of the?"
And the worst is like when you're teeing off right in front of the clubhouse, and it's like all of these great golfers are watching you, and you have like cowboy boots and jeans and like a plaid shirt and like a trucker hat, and you already look like a fool, and then it's just you really, there's no winning there. So we just drink beer and drive the golf cart.
Good call. Good
I
call.
will say it's fun, but yeah, it's turned into way less about winning and just about
Tipping a few back.
Who are you going to tour with when you get done with Darius?
Well,
Got anything
we
lined
have
up?
a fall tour lined up. We wanted to get back into the clubs and kind of really build
Great.
our fan base from the ground up there, and we're heading out with John Party and doing
Good.
a House of Blues.
Oh, that's great. I love
Yeah.
his music too.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have Marilyn on this tour.
Well, we're finishing up the Darius tour. Runs through Maryland at the Meriwether Post Pavilion, which is going to be really cool. It's the first couple shows I ever saw were there.
Oh, cool.
And the run with John, I don't think John Party doesn't go through Maryland, but we'll end up there inevitably again.
How,
We'll always go back.
How fun is it for your dad, or does he avoid the 900 phone calls for people trying to get tickets.
Oh no, our dad is like the guy calling people to get them tickets. You know, I'm like we played a show in Baltimore. I think it was at PBR or something like that, and we gave our family like comp tickets. You want them all to come, and he just gave all his away.
Yeah.
Then he shows up. He doesn't even have a ticket to get in. It's like, come on, man, get it together.
I know.
Come on, guys.
Every time I'm like, look, he shows up and everyone's like, our dad, people love him in our town. He's he's a great man. So everyone's walking up. John, Big John is his name. Can you get us in? He's like, sure. And he's walking up and I'm like, Dad, there's a capacity here. I mean, there's a point where like literally by law we can't get them in. Like, and he's like, yeah, we can get you in. We just played a show recently back home about a month ago, and our bus is parked outside, and everyone's just walking up, knocking on the door, and I'm like, some of them I knew, and some of them like, I don't recognize this person, and the door opens, and every time it'd be, hey, Big John sent us over here to come say hi. Just the host.
Fun and games, man. It's what we live for.
It is.
Man,
it really is.
All right, well, keep it up.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Kix.
coming by.
This is good to see
Thank you, buddy.
Good deal.